Good morning and a warm welcome from a sunny South Africa. My name is Raylene Pienaar, Head of Sales and Retention. And of course, I'm not alone today. With me, General Manager Bonnie Smith and the lovely Mami Mafujani, Operations Director. Locally connected and globally streaming. Welcome, ladies, and I'm really excited about our discussions today, and I hope you both have your thinking caps on. Does your travel management company measure up? And Bonnie, I'm going to go straight into you, and I think the question today is, in summary, what does the local South African landscape look like with local technology and the flawless experience?
So Raylene, it's been 2 years since South Africa was put into a national state of disaster.
Yes.
And it's been very difficult for the country, and we still find ourselves under enormous pressure from a financial point of view. Obviously, unemployment has risen to an all-time high, and we also have seen growth in the 2022 year of 4.6%, but it's the lowest growth for any global country. The IMF are actually predicting that will drop to 1.9% in 2022, and then a further 1.4% in 2023. That puts companies under major financial constraints. We're also seeing our fuel price get to an all-time high. It's fast growing, which means airline tickets are more expensive, and that puts constraints onto budgets. However, we did have our finance minister speak to us in February and deliver his national speech, should I say, and that has highlighted some growth opportunities. All-time tax stays the same, and they've got some good plans in place to get the structure up and going and deliver growth in the economy. Another fundamental element is, what does the vaccine program look like? South Africa has been a little bit delayed on this. We're only at 43% of the 40 million adults being vaccinated, and while for the older population it's looking quite good at probably 60%, our younger generation have only really started to get vaccine now, and the country has really put a massive campaign together to try and get our youngsters vaccinated. A lot of them have only done the first one and not keen on going for a second or even the booster. So that's something that remains a big focus, especially being in the travel industry, to just get people vaccinated so that we can open up travel. From a supplier point of view, the globe has experienced a shortage on cars, and South Africa has also been impacted in this. And what we've seen is a general car booking, which normally takes us 3 minutes, is sometimes taking us 40 to 70 minutes to facilitate, because we just don't have the stock. So that's been very difficult. The supplier landscape has changed fundamentally, and we've seen airlines not go back to the sky. A lot of our low-cost carriers here in South Africa, but what's very encouraging is right now we're starting to see more airlift out of South Africa than ever before, and that's a winning formula for us, and hopefully that puts us in a good position for the future, and hopefully cars become a thing of the past in terms of stock, and we can start to get some new fleets in South Africa. The next point I want to just touch on is probably what our customers are saying, and customer demand honestly hits us in February and March like you cannot believe. And what's so exciting about that is, because COVID hit us and we had to go through a massive retrenchment, we've actually been able to start bringing our people back. And what's such an exciting thing for FCM is that after 2 years, even with the people that have found jobs, they still want to come back to us. So it's been really, really easy to upstaff. Customers want to travel again. I know we went through 2 years of virtual meetings, 2 years of being in front of cameras. Customers do that more and more. They do want to get back in the boardroom. They do want to meet with suppliers face to face. They do want to have relationships. So the demand for travel from a customer perspective is sitting at 85 to 90% of where it was pre-COVID. And then the last piece I'll just tackle from South African point of view when it comes to travel is, over the last 2 years, what we saw is not much in a new business takeover. This is, I'm talking about South Africa, and what we found is a lot of customers, including our own, said, you know what, let's sit back, let's wait and see what happens, and so no one actually went out into an RFP process. And I think that's what's so exciting about today's talk and getting our customers to really think about what does that RFP of the future look like, because only now our customers are starting to think about that. Like we've gone through so much change, so have our customers. They also had to restructure. They've also closed businesses. So what was an important reference of travel before is probably not there anymore. Our economy is growing very slowly. There are some very encouraging signs when it comes to travel. Overall, South Africa is looking good.
So certainly some exciting times for us in South Africa. So good to know, Bonnie, that we have some real growth and some appetite, I suppose. Mummy, jumping to you, what do you believe are the travelers' sentiment? What is our travelers saying and how do they feel?
So from the feedback and what we're seeing with our travelers is that travel has become a non-negotiable. You know, for the past 2 years, what we've been doing is customers have been meeting with their suppliers, stakeholders, negotiating deals virtually, which we have now seen the need to go back to traditional travel and have that face-to-face experience, right? So it's very important for a customer to outline what is deemed as essential for their company. It's also important that you outline this in your travel policy so that your travelers know what is permitted to take place prior from them planning their meetings or go and visit their existing customers. What we're also seeing that is coming into place is the cost to travel, right? Travel expenditure has always been one of those top expenditures within a company. It's always up there with your salaries, your IT, your rent expenditure. And as a company, it's very important that you have clear visibility on your travel spend, as well as how you are tracking against your budget. With a system such as FCM platform, that's where we will give you that visibility. So you are always on top of how you are spending. Another thing that we are seeing, our travelers need information as to understand what is approved and what is in their pre-approval policy when it comes to travel, and understanding what is the most logical fare, right? What is the safe process right now when it comes to traveling overseas? Another thing that has came into play is our quarantine regulations, COVID restrictions. How do travelers go out there and be confident, and how do we as a company provide them that information? And through the FCM platforms and tools such as our Traveler Hub, the travelers that are on the road and actually doing the trips want that information as to understand what are the quarantine measures that are in place, what do I need to do before my trip. So another thing that has become very important is pre-approval for the trip, and each company, we advise our customers to have the clear policy that outlines what has to be done so that there is no delay in setting up this trip or going back into the world and traveling again. That is great as online could have been for the past 2 years and convenient. There is a need for businesses to go out there and be with their customers and be on the ground and make sure that they're going and making use of the preferred suppliers that have been verified and are still able to accommodate their travelers, are in line with their policies during this time.
Wow, some really good points and some really interesting insights into the sentiment of our travelers. And I think it's that combination again of technology together with people and understanding how we become the solution and solve problems during a time of pandemic, but also during the recovery stages. So back to you, Bonnie, and even though we talk about technology, I think the reality is that our customers don't really care about technology. What they really care about is, does it work and how does it work, right? If you have to think about technology of the future, what are the main things travel management companies need to consider in the future of technology?
Thanks, Charlene. Look, I'm going to answer the first one with possibly it not being technology, but probably something that's coming up a lot, and that's sustainability. Number one, this new generation coming through is exceptionally worried about the planet, and as we all should be, and what does the future of the planet look like? And we know that travel has the biggest impact on sustainability. So TMCs should be thinking about that. And how do we engage with our customers to really provide them with a robust solution around sustainability? Lots of our hotels have launched a green program. So let's make sure we check into those hotels and we are helping the environment. Number two is duty of care. If you do not have a robust technology that you can provide to your customer that tells them where their travelers are at any time, you will be left behind. So they want to know that their travelers are looked after, we know where they are, we can track them, and we can send them alerts. What's exciting in the FCM space is while we've always had it, we've actually integrated it even better, and we've been able to give that comfort to our customers at their fingertips within our FCM platforms. Number 3 goes back to that budget, because we know that that budget is still important. And what are airfares of the future going to look like? What is it, with the fuel price increasing massively, it puts massive constraints on airlines to make sure that they can still fly their aircrafts full. So budgets still become a big focus, and I think what customers want to see at their fingertips, actually, can the customer find it easy to use? That UI UX experience where they can log into a platform and simply see what's going on within their travel program, how much airfares are costing, and that's something that comes to you through our FCM reporting. But essentially, FCM platform is going to be your home for travel. So if you think travel, you go into the FCM platform, and within it, it offers you lots of flexibility. We allow our customers to integrate with us, but allowing them to bring in that level of flexibility. And then the last point is probably the mobile app. A mobile app is just part of travel maintenance. If you don't have it, you're going to be left behind. And what the FCM mobile app does is really becomes your always-on assistant. It talks to you pre, during, and post-trip, and allows us to engage with our travelers. It also allows the travel bookers from a company to engage with travelers and be able to send them notifications of what's going on in their trips using the FCM platform. It's everything in one place. So the most important thing you can do if you're a traveler of FCM is download our app, engage with us through the app, and know that you always have us at your beck and call.
Wonderful. So an FCM platform that's intuitive, that is seamless, it is flawless, but it also supports the technology piece as a single sign-on. So that's some great insights. Thank you for that. So Mami, straight on to you. Companies we now through or during or in the process of RFPs, knowing all of this, what would be the key tips or points you would like to share with customers that needs to submit a request for proposal and things that they need to consider?
We all need to remember the last time we actually looked into changing suppliers or renewing contracts in detail was back in 2019. What we are now seeing in the new year is that has changed. Customers are back to talking about RFPs, going out to the market and seeing what's available. So the main key points I would advise, firstly, the most important one, which is understanding your business travel needs. When organizations know what they need from a supplier, it's very easy for them to go out with a detailed RFP and outline what their current needs are. So something as simple as identifying that is your travel program with your TMC one that is very transactional, or is it of a strategic approach, right? But the minute it goes into a more detailed, complex solution where you're looking for reporting, a partnership, then that's where you need to go and find a supplier that's going to be able to provide you with those essential things. A platform like FCM platform that gives you all those consolidated things, reporting, traveler tracking, as well as all the other aspects that you will need. I would then go on to advising organizations that another important thing that we're seeing and hearing about during RFP processes is pain points. The more information you provide TMCs that are coming into your RFP as to these are our current pain points, it makes sure that the solution that you're taking, whether it's a new supplier or you're renewing with your existing supplier, outlines the solution the TMC has for your pain points. When travelers see a change, they embrace a change if they know that it's going to make a difference into their lives. Then once you have outlined your travel needs, your pain points, you need to then think around how you want this process to be done. You then have to make sure that the process is communicated to everybody who's attending and keep them updated with the information. The next thing is you need to weigh in your responses. Weigh in what you've been provided by the different suppliers or the TMCs, and then see who meets those basic needs, who addresses those pain points. Then another thing is decide on your pricing model. Some is transactional, some is management fees, some is a combination of both. What kind of an organization are we? When it comes to our cost management that's related to travel, which model works best? Once you have identified that, you then move over to checking the references when it comes to the suppliers that have submitted RFPs or submitted their tender documents to be part of your travel program, because so much has changed in the past 2 years. You need to make sure that the sustainability of those suppliers is still on check. And then the last point I would say is very important is a good debrief to everybody. It's a very good step to take, which is mostly missed during RFPs, because that will give feedback to all the suppliers. So the next time you are looking, or the next time they go out there and do their RFPs, then they know what they need to improve on or continue doing great.
Awesome. I think you've just done such a great job in summarizing 6 or 7 steps that needs to be considered. And what really excites me, Mummy, is that you talk about collaborating, working together, and understanding how and where do we need to solve problems. So, and I think in summary for me, it's about that South African landscape. It's looking good. We are excited again as we take back to the skies, and where there's an appetite in corporate businesses and our organizations saying we're ready to travel. I thank you for your time today. It was lovely catching up with both of you. And thank you so much for your time today. And I hope we've got you thinking.